Broadcasting from the Community Service Radio Studios at the Pop Music Academy in Sellersburg, Indiana, it's Dangerous Subversive Radio. Prepare to open your mind and question everything. Well, welcome to a very special episode of Dangerous Subversive Radio. It's been a while, but we are back. During our hiatus, master engineer and producer Jackie Smith got married and went on his honeymoon. I am always, as your host, Tim Ritalik. And this, I believe, Jackie, may be the episode that really puts us on the map.
Oh, really?
This is an episode that I have wanted to do for a couple of years now, which is actually longer than this program has been in existence. I originally conceived of it as a YouTube show, so it does have a heavy visual element, but we will be rebroadcasting this show later on, so I will try to adapt it as we go. A few disclaimers tonight. Our special effects budget is very low. I did manage to master the graphs, the bar graph function in Google Slides, so we'll have lots of bar graphs for you. And these little pieces right here, these are actually game pieces from a vintage Risk set, and these are going to represent people in our presentation tonight. Oh, and also, this magic marker is going to be a cigar, okay? So, I believe that this is the one that needs to go viral. So I am unabashedly asking every single one of you, share this with every single one of your friends and urge them to share it with every single one of their friends. So, without further ado, let's go. You know, I thought that this presentation was going to be obsolete by now. A couple of years ago, we were living under Obamacare. I thought that would have all changed by now because one of the very first things that Donald Trump said he was going to do was repeal Obamacare. Hasn't happened yet. And so this material is just as relevant as it ever was. You know what? There is one thing I did not mention at the beginning of the show. Our theme music that you heard tonight was actually composed exclusively for this show by Songs Publishing. Mark Spence at Songs Publishing, a member of ASCAP. And we do thank Mark for that music.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, back to our subject. So, we're here to talk about a really serious problem tonight. And it turns out that right now it's just as serious as it ever was. And that is that healthcare is way too expensive. You see, here's where the cost of healthcare is up here, and down here is what everybody can afford to pay for it. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that these numbers are not all crunched to be actual numbers out of real life. It does not matter. What we're talking about here is ideas. What we're talking about here is real world processes. What we're talking about here is human nature and human behavior. So it really does not matter. So the cost of this healthcare, it might be for a lot of different things. It might be for an operation. It might be for a procedure. It might be for supplies. It might be for a medicine. But to keep things simple, we're just going to call it a pill. Okay? The principles are the same either way.
Hey, Tim, I noticed that was a red pill.
It's a red pill, yes. We're going to have a blue pill later on. Okay. So first, let's take a look at the way we are approaching this problem right now. See, this is what the pill costs, again, and this is what everybody can afford to pay for it. Now, the way the government is doing it right now is to force everyone to buy health insurance. That's a law right now that says you have to buy insurance, whether you can afford it or not. Now, whatever outrageous price the insurance companies want to charge, you have to pay it. And you have to buy not only health insurance, but health insurance that meets with the government's approval. What does that mean? Well, okay, it means we're going to take this this way over there. This 25-year-old guy over on the end who bicycles 500 miles a week, and we're going to make him shell out extra money for a health insurance policy that covers diabetes. And we're going to give it to this guy. Okay? And then we're going to make this 22-year-old woman pay for a policy that covers geriatric care. Okay? And we're going to give that to this guy. And then we're going to take this 75-year-old dude and make him buy insurance that covers labor and delivery. No, not for his 72-year-old wife, for him. And we're going to add that to this other guy in a subsidy. Okay? So we're just going to keep doing that. We're just going to keep redistributing the money until we arrive here. All we did was redistribute a little wealth. How exactly? Well, from each according to his needs, and from each according to his ability, and to each according to his needs. Now, I want you to go and Google that phrase and come back and tell me the only name that was associated with that.
I don't like the sound of that, Tim.
Well, that's just, if you were a caring, loving, compassionate person, you'd be for it. Yeah.
I guess I'm not caring and loving enough.
So when we're all done redistributing it, now this person can afford to pay the difference between what healthcare costs and the money that we have given him to pay for it. So, and then the government sits back and says they've solved the problem. And that was pretty short, sweet, and to the point, wasn't it? Except there's just one problem. Wasn't this the problem in the first place? Healthcare being too expensive? Well, unless my eyes are deceiving me, it's still there. It's still there, staring you in the face, just as big as it ever was. Healthcare is still astronomically expensive. You haven't solved it at all. Nice work. And not only that, but let me ask you this. If we had to redistribute all this wealth so that this one person could afford health care, how are we going to do that for everybody? Well, I can tell you how they thought they were going to do it. All these all these other policies with health coverage that people don't need, and so that they're never going to have to pay out on those policies. But guess what? They are still going to run out of other people's money. So now some people realize that this isn't working that well, and they say, well, what? We just have to go to a single payer system, socialized medicine. This is socialized medicine. Whether they take the money you've earned after your paycheck to pay these premiums and give it to other people, or they take it before you get your paycheck in taxes, it's still single payer health care. There is no difference. Now, let's look at a different way to do this. And in order to do that, we're going to have to shove this over to the side so that we can compare it later. So here's where our people come in. And the first one we're going to meet is this guy. That's me. I'm Evil G. Bastard, President and CEO of the Evil Greedy Pharmaceuticals Company. I've got the pill. You need it. And it cost me $2 to produce it, and I'll be happy to sell it for you for the low, low price of only $100 a pill. Now, for those of you who don't know, and I know that there are some who don't, the difference between what it cost him to make his pill and what he wants to charge for it is called his profit margin. And right now, it's sitting about 1,900%. What is his profit? Well, right now, his profit is sitting at a great big whopping $0.00 because he hasn't sold any of it. Okay? So now the people say, but Mr. Bastard, you just don't understand. We're not getting any help from the government anymore. they're not forcing other people to buy your pill for us. We just can't afford that. I don't care. $100 a pill. Take it or leave it. But you don't understand. Some of us will die without this pill. I don't care. Go ahead and die. I want my money. So, obviously, well, Tim, you wrote this. Obviously, you just don't understand. People will die without this medicine. Okay, number one, the next time someone tells me that I am incapable of comprehending anything beyond my own experience, I think that's the last thing that person's going to say to me. And number two, yes, you'll die without this medicine, and I'm here to tell you that it does not matter. What we are talking about tonight is solving the problem. And I'm telling you right here, right now, my face to yours, that the fact that you will die without this medicine is totally irrelevant to solving the problem. For one very simple and logical reason. If no one can afford to buy his pill, he's not going to sell any of his pills. And that means no money for him. No profits. Zero. Zips. Zilch. Nada. No money for him. Do you think this evil, greedy bastard is going to sit back and accept this? No. That is totally unacceptable to him. This he cannot abide. This he will do something about. But we have a situation here. In this brave new world of no government involvement in healthcare, he's got a product that no one can afford, and he's just sitting on it. Meanwhile, his production costs just keep on chugging along. He still has bills to pay. He's got employees who aren't working for free. Now, let me ask you, have you ever seen this in your life? Have you ever seen any manufacturer of any product set their price so high that no one can afford it, and then just sit there and let their production costs run them out of business? So, what is he going to do? In this brave new world of no government involvement, what is he going to do? Well, I suppose I could hire armies of thugs to roust people out of their beds and march them down to the bank and force them to withdraw their rent money and buy my pills with it. Except that I'm pretty sure if I did that, they'd lock me up and throw away the key. So this goes back to a challenge that I issued several episodes back. I set up a scenario where I had just won the largest lottery in world history, and now I am a multi-billionaire. And I challenge you to tell me all the different ways that using only my money and my greed, that's it, how am I going to force you to behave in ways that benefit me and harm you? So how many different ways did you come up with? I can tell you right now, 0, because there are none. So what's he going to do? What is he going to do? Well, he's going to do the only thing he can do. He's going to use the only option available to him. Can anybody tell me what it is? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Jackie?
I thought you'd never ask. He's going to lower his prices.
He's going to lower the price. And he's going to lower it to $90 a pill. Great. Now these two guys can afford it. So now he's making piles of cash, right? Wrong, because he's already manufactured hundreds of these things at $2 a pill. Okay, he still has employees to pay. He still has, his profits are still 0. So what's he going to do? Well, at least he has 2 customers now. How did he get them? It is a conundrum, isn't it? Especially since he cannot use the government in any way. So what's he going to do? Well, I suppose I could hire evil scientists to build giant transmitters all over the country and blast the entire population with mind control rays and force them that way to buy my pill. Except I'm pretty sure that technology does not exist. Okay, so what's he going to do? He's going to lower the price again. It got him customers last time. It'll get him customers this time. He's going to lower it to $80 a pill. Okay. Now, all these people couldn't afford it. So now he's making some profit, right? Okay. Wrong. He's still not happy. This man is still evil and greedy. He wants more money. Well, how did he make it last time? What is his greed going to drive him to do? He's going to lower the price again. This time to $70 a pill. Now, his profit margin has gone down. See, the distance between here and here has gone down. But now, all these people can afford the pill. And since so many more people are buying his pill, his profits have actually gone up. So now he's happy, right? Wrong. He is still evil and greedy. He has lowered it to $70, but you see, that's when this guy comes along. Who is he? We don't care. We don't even care what his name is. We're just going to call him the new guy, okay? And he takes one look at this situation and he goes, wow, look at all that money. I want some of that money. I'm an evil, greedy bastard too. So what does he do? He does a little research, does a little manufacturing, and he comes up with a pill that does the exact same thing.
Hey, there's that blue pill.
That's the blue pill. And he's also going to sell it for $70 a pill. Right? So now he's going to get all of Evil G Bastard's customers. They're going to come over and buy his pill. Right? Right? Wrong. Why? Because people tend to go with what they know. They know that Evil G Bastard's pill helps them, so they're going to stick with him. So now the new guy is going to have to come up with some other incentive to get people to buy his pill instead of Evil G Bastard's. And what is he going to do? He's going to sell it for $60 a pill. Now they're going to come over and buy his pill. Now he's got all of Evil G Bastard's customers. So now, is Evil G Bastard just going to sit back and accept this? No, he is not. But by now, he's kind of catching on what he has to do. The exact same thing that the new guy did to get his customers. He's going to lower the cost of the pill to $60. No, he's going to lower it to $50. There we go. And what happens? It happens again. He gets all of his customers back, and not only that, now all these people can afford the pill. And all these people too. But now his profit margin has gone down some more. You can see it's down again. The new guy's profit margin is even lower. Okay? So now the new guy is right back to where he was. So what's he going to do?
Lower his price.
Lower his price to $40 a pill. He gets all of his customers back, and not only that, but now all these people can afford the pill. Okay? Again, his profit margin has gone down, but because so many more people are able to buy his pill, his profits have gone up. So now Evil G Bastard is right back in the same spot, and by now, he knows what to do. He's going to bite the bullet and lower that price to $30 a pill. Okay? And it works again. Not only does he get all of his customers back from the new guy, but now all these people can afford the pill. Again, profit margins are down, profits are up. What voodoo is this? What dark sorcery that lowering prices causes profits to rise? Well, it's called free market capitalism, and it's actually been around for thousands of years. And as long as their greed holds out, it's going to keep on going. $20 a pill. Profit margins getting very thin, but he did get all of his customers back. And now at $20 a pill, there's just a whole lot of people who can afford this medicine. So where's it all going to end up? Well, in this scenario, around $10 a pill. Now, there's a reason why it stopped there, and we're going to get into that in a couple of minutes. But now it's time to compare the two solutions. Now I ask you, if the problem was the cost of healthcare being too expensive, which of these solutions actually solved the problem? This one or this one? This one or this one? This one or this one? I humbly submit to you that it is this one.
You're a winner.
So, this is it, folks. This is all of the hatred and bigotry and intolerance that conservatism stands for. Absolutely deplorable. Now, there's several questions we have to ask at this point. The first one is, what was it that set all of this in motion? What was it that took what was once unaffordable to anyone and made it affordable to almost everyone? Was it not the greed of these two individuals? Was it not their lust for ever greater profits? Was it not also the greed of all these consumers wanting to keep more of the money they worked for? This is what Michael Douglas's character, Gordon Gekko, meant when he said in the movie Wall Street, greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed works. You see, this is exactly what he meant. Greed, by itself, is value neutral. The existence of greed is not the issue. Greed can either be channeled into competition, in which case good things happen every single time, or it can be channeled into government, in which case bad things happen every single time. Now, the second question we have to ask is, if all this is good, if this works, if this solves the problem, why hasn't it always been done that way? Why doesn't everybody just do it that way? Well, because it's a lot of work. That's why. You not only have to compete with this guy, and this guy, but also this guy, and this guy, and every single competitor who wants to come down the road. Why? And when your profits margins get so slim, you have to resort to things like honesty and integrity and, oh my gosh, customer service. Why would anyone go to that much trouble when it is so much simpler and more profitable to just send your lobbyist up the hill armed with huge piles of cash and buy yourself a few key congressmen and senators and then sit back on your butt while they pay you off by passing laws that say only their product can treat your illness, and laws that say whatever price, whatever outrageous price these drug companies want to charge, Medicare has to pay it, and laws that say you have to buy insurance even if you don't need it, and laws to say that your doctor is prohibited from accepting a lower price if you take cash. And the regulations. Oh, the tens of thousands of pages of regulations that are so expensive to comply with that most of these guys aren't even going to make it onto the playing field. And make no mistake, that's exactly why most of them are written. Now, a third question. If this solution actually solved the problem, this one, then how do we keep ending up back here? I'll tell you that too. Because people will die without this medicine. Somebody's got to do something. What? People will die? Well, then we will do something because we want to save your life, unlike those horrible conservatives who just want you dead. As a matter of fact, they'd put a bullet in your brain right now if they thought they could get away with it. And we are the only thing standing between you and that fate. So you just remember that come election time. Okay, so ridiculous exaggeration? Liberals would never say anything like that. Well, I guess then you don't remember the 2012 political commercial produced by the Agenda Project in which a Paul Ryan lookalike wheels an old woman in a wheelchair up to the edge of a cliff and throws her off. Wholesome family viewing brought to you by the Liberal Agenda Project. So, now the fourth question. If this solves the problem, we already know how we got back here. Why do we keep ending up back here? Why is this solution constantly imposed upon us? And this other solution ends up being a lone cry in the wilderness. One simple reason. Because this is capitalism and this is socialism. Socialism. The governmental system that's just so darn wonderful that people will build boats out of trash to try to escape it. But you know what? I've been told lately that I've got this all wrong. Cuba's not socialism. Denmark is socialism. You know, where everybody's all happy and dancing. Despite the fact that... No, because of the fact that their government generously allows them to keep a big whopping 20% out of every dollar they earn. Now, in Denmark, it's actually called a krona, but I don't know if there's a 1% equivalent, let's say. So let me ask you this. Even after you've paid all of your bills, including your healthcare costs, could you make it on 20% of your gross pay? How would you have to live to make that happen? Now you're getting it.
In the streets like those people right there?
Well, not quite. But let's say with that 20% you're left, if you wanted to buy maybe a car, okay, well, the tax on a new car is 180%, which means most people in Denmark will never own one. The average person in Denmark has the same standard of living as the average person in Arkansas, one of the poorest states in this country. And no matter how smart or ambitious or hard-working they are, it will never rise any higher, because that is the level of prosperity that their socialist government has chosen for them. So all you democratic socialists who actually do own a car and a house, Bernie didn't tell you this, did he? Oh, but of course the Prime Minister of Denmark lives here. So just remember, Cuba, not socialism. Denmark, socialism. And this dilapidated, rundown, rat-infested edifice, that's not a crack house. This is a crack house, the little mushroom house with the little fairy dancing around side of it. And this snarling beast is not a rabid Doberman. This is a rabid Doberman. She's just so cute and fluffy. We just love our rabid Doberman. So, now of course this is not a perfect system. Closing this gap right here between the cost of manufacturing it and the cost of the selling, you cannot close that gap forever. If you take your profit margin down to zero, you're never going to make any money, no matter how many units you sell. So, if profits are rising up here and there's zero down here, there's got to be a space in the middle where profits stop rising and fall rapidly. $1 above that is the point of maximum profits. It is the point at which the most good is being done for the most people. And yes, in that most people, I include Evil G Bastard. Because if you don't allow him any profit at all, he will not have any reason to make the pills in the first place. He'll start selling refrigerators or something like that, and then we can all die without his pill. So the price isn't going to go any lower than that, which is really a problem for these people. These are the truly needy, the truly indigent, the people who could not afford this pill at $5 a pill.
Well, sir, you just want to condemn them to death, don't you, Tim? Because you're a conservative, and conservatives don't care about people. They care about huge corporations like the evil, greedy pharmaceuticals company.
Okay, number one, libertarian. And number two, yeah. They forced me to sign an affidavit to that effect the day I got my conservative license. And the conservative police are always on patrol. And if they find me not being selfish enough or greedy enough or uncaring enough, they will arrest me and take me away to conservative prison. So how are we going to help these people? Well, have you noticed there are far fewer of them now? And far more of these people who have not had nearly so much of their money taken from them. So now they're paying $10 a pill instead of $100, and they've got a little extra cash in their pockets. Now, these people can generally be divided into two groups. The first group tends to reach into their own pockets, take out their own money, and help these people either directly or through donations to charitable organizations. How much? Okay, well, you remember Hurricane Katrina? In the weeks that followed, Americans donated more than $4 billion to the relief effort. The same thing is happening right now with Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma. Not only do they donate billions of dollars of their money, they also donate not millions, but billions of dollars of their time, billions of hours of their time. No matter what lies you have been told, Americans are among the most generous, if not the most generous people on the face of the planet. But you want to change that? Here's how you do it. Give them health care premiums they cannot afford and health care deductibles they will never be able to meet. That will suck every bit of charity right out of the American heart. Thanks a lot. Now, the other group, instead of using their own money, they tend to simply vote for the politician who says he's going to take other people's money and help the less fortunate. Much like those people standing out there in the rain. Yeah, I noticed those people. Who are they? Oh, those are the Wet. Have you met them? Lovely people, the Wet, and let me tell you, no one should have to go through their life soaked to the bone. So we are lobbying very hard for a new federal program under which we will hire people at a living wage of $15 an hour, of course, to go out there and stand beside the Wet and hold umbrellas over their heads whenever it rains. Well, why don't you just bring them in from the rain, and then they won't need the umbrellas? Well, but they're the Wet. And couldn't that be these people's real problem? Couldn't the problem actually be that being poor has ceased to be their condition and become their identity? And that identity is too valuable to certain groups of people to simply let it go. Well, that, quite frankly, is another discussion. One not nearly as conducive to a YouTube video as this one. But you can find that discussion and many others in this book, Dangerous Subversive Heresies, available at Amazon.com and on Kindle. I hope you'll go buy it. I hope you'll read it. I hope you read it several times. I hope you'll give it to some friends, recommend it to them so they can read it several times. And then I hope you come back for our next episode. I hope you bring some friends. I hope you grow to be 100 million strong. But right now, I hope you have a good night.